Alright, ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to take a look at the DC Collectibles new Batman Adventures, like Batman animated series. Bruce Timm's sort of Dark Knight Returns sort of set. You get Batman, Carrie Kelly Robin, and the Mutant Leader. And here's a look at the front packaging. It's got a nice window packaging. Here's a look at the side. In the back, not really much to it. And then the side. It's got number 36. I wonder if that's how many, see there? 36, I wonder if that's how many figures are in the line here. Alright, we're going to open this bad boy up and then take a look at them. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and here's a look at what you get with the figure set. You get your nice big Batman there. He comes with another set of hands. You get your Mutant Leader here. He comes with another set of hands. And then Carrie Kelly Robin here, she comes with 2 more sets of hands and a slingshot that you can put in her hand. So I gotta say, oh, and then you get the bases, sorry. You get your Mutant Leader base. And you got your Batman base here. It's got a nice little art there, front and back. Pretty cool. Then your Carrie Kelly base. Alright. So, coming to the figures themselves. I do really like them. This is from one of the better episodes of the new Batman animated series, which I don't think stands up to the original Batman animated series, which is kind of different. They did a whole redesign with the new animated adventures. So I gotta say, and this is from the episode called Legends of the Dark Knight, I believe is what it's called. And they did like a little homage, a little section of the Dark Knight Returns. But these are done in the Bruce Timm style, and I think they're really awesome. I'm really liking the Batman. Frank Miller Batman is my favorite Batman. I'll just come right out and say it. So I think the design of all this stuff is great because I love the Dark Knight Returns and I do love Frank Miller's work. Done Bruce Timm, into the Bruce Timm style, it makes it look amazing. I really like the chunky Batman. He's really big and just he's like a brick shit house Batman. And the Mutant Leader, he looks a little bit smaller than Batman actually. If I remember in the book, I think he's bigger or at the same size of Batman, but maybe because he's older and a little more fatter, maybe that's why he looks like that. Carrie Kelly, this is actually one of the better Carrie Kellys I've seen. I've seen the Mattel one, and I just can't bring myself to buy it because it looks terrible. And there's another Carrie Kelly Robin from a few sets from maybe 10 years ago or so, which is okay. I think it really uses the exaggerated Frank Miller style. I think this actually looks a little bit better. The Bruce Timm, Frank Miller kind of mesh. I do really like this one. And it's great that it comes with a little slingshot too. Now going on to articulation and stuff, you get a better look at the Batman anyway. Might as well, right? That's what you're here for. So yeah, I think he's really great. He's not much in the way of articulation though. He's definitely heavy. I mean, these figures are big. One thing I did want to bring in, actually, let me put this back really quick. What I wanted to do is I wanted to show you guys scale, because these figures are really big and thick. The set is actually a lot bigger than I thought it was when I first saw it in the comic store. I was like, geez, it's really big. So just as a frame of reference, this is the Rebirth Batman that just came out from the Icons line. And this is this Batman right here. Just look at how much bigger it is. It's huge compared to this Batman. Look at that. Very stylized, especially when you see it compared to this Batman, very stylized. Bruce Timm style really comes out in these figures. It's really great. Really amazing. It's just, but I'm just, huge compared to this one. Very huge. We'll put it in front of him. Just huge. This looks weird, doesn't it? There you go. Yeah, but it looks really huge. We'll do the backside too. Just huge. He doesn't even he can't even stand up to the same height. So yeah, he's really big. Now as far as articulation, these aren't really known for articulation. These are more display pieces and stuff like that. But you do have some rotation here, and you can because you can see it a joint here. Can get him to do this. Do that. There's no swivel there. No swivel here, no swivel there. No swivel anywhere, I don't think. No, just your standard joints. There's a joint here, but man, they're tough. And it looks really awkward, too. It doesn't look really good. It just looks bad if you were to put it like this. Of course, the Mutant Leader falls down, whatever. Yeah, so the joint looks bad. So, you know, it's like, it's not what these are really meant for. I think these are really kind of meant to be displayed kind of like this, like, oh, the youth. Oh, the youth now, grr. Pretty much like that. Bah humbug. Old grumpy old Batman. Let's see. Let's try to get this one going. Yeah, like, that's about as far as you're going to get on the arms, man. And, oh, so here's your shoulder. That's as far as the shoulders go up. Not very far, but, I mean, it's that, you know what? It's not bad considering. All things considered, they could have made, like, this thing, like, have barely any articulation at all. So I will give them credit there. Let's look at the back. Cape is, like, in there, but hold by something. Looks like some kind of rods or something. And let's see how far. His leg can't go far back at all. So these are a little bit loose, but you know that's probably gonna happen with time anyway. So yeah, you might want to do like a wider leg stance because they're a little bit. These are very top heavy. Like Bruce Timm designed his characters very top heavy. Not very practical, Bruce. I gotta say. So here's a look at the mutant leader. Move my camera up a little bit. He looks great too. But again, not a lot of articulation. You know, oh, the joints are very stiff up top, whereas in the legs they're very kind of loose. So yeah, nothing there. It's as far as up you're getting. You know, God, it's like nothing. So these actually swivel here. So his hands swivel, so that's good. Legs are good, see? You can do a little split. And then, more articulation on the mutant leader for sure. That's definite. Let's see. There you go. And then he got his little tootsies. No ankle pivot, though. I don't really think you could have it on that. So I think if you have an ankle pivot kind of ankle here, you know what I mean? Like I think you might run the risk of having it like fall over all the time, especially if the things get loose. His nipples also not very sharp, but kind of a rubbery thing, kind of a rubbery nipple. You like that, mutant leader? Okay, there we go. Then there's like his head moves a little bit, just a little bit. It's kind of hard to move. You gotta really like grab it. All right. He's probably going to fall over again, so you'll be able to see like what I mean about getting him to stand up. So you might definitely need the base for it. You know, I don't really like using bases because I like to have my figures set up in more dynamic poses and stuff, and like having the base there just makes it look kind of weird. Oh, all right, well, screw that. You're on the ground. And here's your Carrie Kelly Robin. Looks really good. The face sculpt is nice. Yeah, like a lot of good articulation in the head, though, for sure. And her hands are just tiny. Teeny tiny little hands, man. I'll tell you. I have to put this in like a Ziploc bag so I don't lose anything. There you go. See, that's why I'm always like praising Mezco for their 1/12 collector figures, because they give you that little Ziploc bag to put your stuff in. DC Collectibles, take note. So, like, she actually has some really good articulation in the hands. Really good. But I think you would kind of need it because you have the little slingshot here. So you might want that, you know, to be able to like do different poses with it. Although the legs are, there we go. The legs are a little bit better. Oh wow, really nice. Although, like, I would be careful. It feels very light. And man, these things just feel like it would be very fragile, especially like down here at the feet. Very fragile feeling to me. I could be wrong. They could be not fragile, but I know they had an issue when these figures first came out of like legs and ankles breaking and stuff like that. So I know they fixed the quality control on them. So, you know, probably a lot better, but I would just still be careful. You know, always be careful with your figures, everybody. And then like another thing is the capes are rubber. Capes are rubber. Same thing with Batman's. Batman's cape is rubber. Let's see. Let's see how ooh. So they don't want us raising the shoulders too much. There you go. Their head goes up pretty high. That's pretty great. so she could be looking up at Batman. Like, hey, Pops. Kick there. Yeah. A little stiff. I mean, like, but I mean, these are so stylized, you kind of expect them to be a little stiff, so you got to kind of give them a little leeway there, so. Alright, guys, I'm going to come right back in a second and I'll give you my final review. Alright, guys, I'm going to go ahead and give you my final review here. I think, you know, I think if you're a huge fan of either The Dark Knight Returns or the Batman animated series or Bruce Timm's art or something like that, I think you should definitely pick these up. It's very esoteric. I would have to agree. It's very esoteric. You have to be a really big fan of either one of those things, and I mean like a really like hardcore fan to want something like this. I got it on my comic. I got this in my comic shop for $70, so it's very steep. Although, you know, I picked it up because I'm a huge fan of The Dark Knight Returns and Bruce Timm, so and the Batman animated series, so it's all kind of like, I think it's worth it. Although, you know, I have a hard time recommending this. You know, it's one of these things where, you know, like you can't really do much with it as far as articulation. You know, the figures do look great. I will give them that. The paint apps are great. All that good stuff. You know, but it just seems like very niche, and I think you'd have to be like a huge fan of either one of those things that I mentioned to want to pick this up. I think they have some better stuff coming down the pike too. You know, they have a lot of really good icons coming out. Like, you know, I think soon they're coming out with Deathstroke, Swamp Thing, Wonder Woman, Cyborg, like just to name a few that are coming out this month, I think. So I think, you know, you'd be better. I think you'd be better off putting your money over there if you're not a huge fan of Dark Knight Returns, Bruce Timm, or the animated series. So I'm gonna go ahead. I mean, and it's also, you know, another thing it's hard for me to recommend is that, like, I had such a trouble trying to get this mutant leader to stand up here. Real big pain in the ass to stand these things up. You know, Batman not so bad. You know, Robin back there not so bad. But the mutant leader really hard because he's so top heavy and his legs are so tiny and his feet are so tiny. It was getting really frustrating after a while, you know. So, and you know, like, also, like, I know Mezco, the 112 Collective, I know they put out a box set that has the mutant leader and Batman in them. So I think if you're like a hardcore fan of Dark Knight Returns, like, I think you'd be better off going for that set. I know it's a bit expensive. I know it's probably about $200 or something like that. But I think if you're a hardcore fan of The Dark Knight Returns, you should definitely go for that one instead. Definitely go for the Mezco. But if you don't have that kind of scratch, and you don't want to save, you know what I mean? Like, and if you're a big fan and you got $70 to spend, like, I would go ahead and get this. But, you know, I can only give this figure set one thumb up for it because, like, I just think it's for a very niche group, and also, like, you know, the problems with, you know, the articulation and stuff like that, and getting them, you know, especially getting the mutant leader to stand up. You know, if you like to, and you really, this is the coolest thing I could think of to come up with here. You really can't do much as far as even displaying them. So, you know, it's like, you know, I have to give it one thumb up because I think they're great figures for what they do, as far as like being display pieces for that universe and stuff like that. But man, I can't, you know, especially at that price point. You know what, like $70. Although that's not my comic book store, so that's probably the most you're gonna pay. I think if you can wait and then maybe see on Amazon, if it's down to about $55, you know, this set's definitely worth $50. You know what I mean? Like, if you're a fan of the series, like, you know, I think it's a very huge caveat for me. Like, you have to be a really big fan of those things to want to pick this up. And, you know, other than that, I can't recommend it. There's better stuff coming on down the pike. You'd be better off spending your money there. I know I kind of repeated myself, but I just really want to reiterate to you guys, like, it's not that I hate this set. It's okay. It's decent, which is why it gets one thumb up. But, you know, like, it's for a very esoteric group, again, like I gotta say. Anyway, if you like this video, go ahead and give me a like, and then subscribe down there if you feel like I have a lot more reviews coming, and, you know, we just had to try to have a little fun around here, reviewing figures and stuff like that. Other than that, guys, have a great day, and happy collecting.